Hello everybody, Luke back once again to give you a breakdown on how to win a Command & Conquer Red Alert 2 Yuri's Revenge is probably one of the most popular maps for multiplayer right now. That's Rekoool, and I hope I'm pronouncing that R-E-K-O-O-L or O-O-O-L, depending on the version of the map. This is a wildly popular map, fast build, 3-on-3 is typical, but there's other versions like a 2-on-2 where you basically build up a large army and fight. Now, a lot of people play this just one way, and there's really multiple ways to win this map. I'm going to teach you 3 common options to play this map to win it. Hopefully I don't regret this later, giving you some of my tips and tricks, but I think you'll enjoy learning a little bit more about this map and the different ways it's played, because knowing the options here can help you defend yourself against them also, even if you're not looking to actually play to win these ways. So let's start off with that, but first, if you're new here, do me a big favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up. It really does help because it lets YouTube know you enjoy what we do here, and hopefully we can help you learn something new about Command & Conquer Red Alert 2. Alright, option number 1, the slow attack. Now this is by far the most popular way to play this game. A lot of people think this should be the only way you play this game. And that's basically you sit back in your base with your teammates, you build up a massive army, you build up all your ore trucks, you build up this large amount of wealth and large amount of tanks and anti-air and whatever you want to build, and then you attack in massive waves. Now, the pros for this is if things go wrong, you typically have a large amount of money set aside, right? And your teammates should have a large army also, hopefully if they're good. The downside to this game mode is when you play it where you're just sitting back building an army while the other enemy's building an army. And if they're as good as you, if they have similar skill levels or better, you're really hoping that they just make a mistake. 2 big massive armies just slamming into each other really removes a lot of the tactics from this game, and it really comes down to the idea that, hey, we're just going to hope somebody makes a mistake, or I can maybe get a slightly better angle on them. Different things. Now, one trick for this game mode, if you're going to do a massive attack when you're ready, pull all your ore trucks together, send them in a massive wave in front of you, and they act like a shield for your tanks, allow you to get in there. They absorb a lot of fire. They're very heavily armed. They can absorb a lot of fire and help you push through. The downside to this is if you have a weak teammate and they get crumpled pretty quickly, now your flanks are wide open. Now it's 1 versus 2 or 1 versus 3, depending how unlucky you are. And this really comes down to a lot of luck. So I don't really recommend this strategy on its own. I will talk about similar strategies that will help you win. But one tip here. If you are playing, you notice one teammate on the other side is weak, try to work together with your teammates to launch a coordinated attack on the weak one. See if you can knock that player out or severely disable their army to make it more of a 3-on-2 type situation to help you win. Alright, let's go for option number 2, the rush attack. Now this one's pretty popular. This is the idea that you build a small, fast army as quickly as possible to catch your enemy sleeping. That they're still building up their base, and you can take out their construction yard, their war factories, to prevent them from building any new buildings and building any tanks, for example. Now the trick here is to be as fast as you can. You need to have a powerful army though to do it. Now my recommendation, if you're looking for a rush attack, do recon first. If you're a Soviet player where you don't have satellite power, send in some recruits to go out there, conscripts, to go check out the enemy base, maybe use some dogs. If you're allied, I like to build up an army until my satellite's ready. And when I get my satellite up, I inspect the enemy bases, and then I make a decision. Is there an enemy that's weak enough to justify the attack? So my recommendation is to always keep the rush attack in mind. For one, you gotta be ready to defend against it. For 2, you need to be built up strong enough that if an opportunity ever appears, if you notice that there's an enemy who has made a mistake and maybe he's just been building ore trucks and has no defenses on their base yet, and you have 20 or 30 tanks, and especially if you're ally, it's a lot easier to do this as ally because you can add in the Rocketeers, you can add in some jets to attack also. If you can send 30 tanks and you can send 30 Rocketeers and 6 or 8 jets in, you can really wreck a base that isn't quickly built up for defenses. So keep that in mind. Now, if you're playing for a Soviet side, the most common rush tactic is a bunch of tanks as option number 1. Option number 2 is to take an anti-aircraft flak vehicle, load some engineers in there, load one of those little terror drones in there, rush it next to their construction yard before they build the ability to build new MVCs, and then try to capture it with NGs, try to capture, or if it tries to move, attack it with the terror drone. Russia is definitely at a disadvantage a little bit when it comes to the rush attack. Now, it can be done, but it's definitely a lot easier on the Allied side. They build a little bit of money faster using the chronos that jump back in the first wave. Now, there are flip sides here. Russia does offer a lot, and the Soviet Union type places like Iraq and more do offer a lot of additional options, in the long run. I always recommend keeping the rush attack in your back pocket, because especially if I notice I have a weak teammate, I will quickly attempt to try to level the playing field. If I have a noob, we'll call them, playing with me, I'll see if I can make it more of a 2-on-2 by taking somebody out. That saved me a few times with really bad players. But option number 3 is actually probably the way most people need to play this map, and that's the hybrid. Now, you don't necessarily in the hybrid one rush to take out the enemy to prevent them from being able to build, but you do build up a fast army at the beginning. It adds 2 things. A, the option to defend your base if they try to rush you. B, if you want to build a large army, one of the best ways to win at this is to keep the enemy off balance. You want to continuously deny them money so they can't build as big, and deny them critical buildings. For instance, if you're playing a version of this map with a repair facility, if you take out the enemy's repair facility, their vehicles won't auto-repair, which gives you a big advantage. 2, the ability to take off, for instance, their technology centers, prevent them from building advanced units, or if you attack their ore trucks and you can successfully reduce those, you can reduce the amount of money they have, greatly slowing the rate that they can build up new armies. I always recommend a very small army of chrono troopers, rocketeers, tanks, flak vehicles, whatever it may be, that rushes forward and disrupts the enemy. Can be very effective. You can dramatically reduce the enemy's numbers, just enough to give you a overwhelming advantage when the time for a big head-to-head attack comes. As allies, I often like to watch the enemy when they have a bunch of tanks, or they have Prism tanks, are a very popular one, that get separated. They're kind of out of position away from anti-aircraft. I'll often swoop in with some Rocketeers, try to take out 10 or 20 of them real quick, and then fly back. Same thing with their ore trucks. Use some chrono troopers to jump in there and damage them, or Rocketeers or airplanes and more. It doesn't take much to continuously drop in and damage them to greatly reduce their ability to withstand your attacks. So keep that in mind. This tactic keeps your base strong, and it forces the enemy to react to what you're doing. It forces them to fall back and have to reevaluate. Maybe they need to stop building offensive weapons and focus on defensive weapons, more flak, for example, around their base, more anti-aircraft locations. That means they're building things on your schedule the way you want them to build them, rather than building them on theirs, which greatly reduces their ability to respond to you when you make the final attack. So there you go. My 3 most common ways to play this game. Always recommend that you try to control the pace of battle here. When you're reacting, you're in trouble. Also, try to work with your teammates. It's very frustrating when there's people that just sit there and do their own thing and they don't talk, they don't work with you. Teams that communicate are teams that will be more successful in winning this map, and really any map in Command & Conquer Red Alert 2. Well, there you go. My 3 ways to win this game. If you're new here, do me a huge favor. It really does help. It's really small. Even if you don't want to subscribe, hit that like button. Huge help. If you do like these videos, hit that subscribe button. I play a lot of old strategy games and newer first-person shooters, and even sometimes older first-person shooters. So do me a big favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. It really does help. We'll be putting out a lot more content in this new year. Thank you so much, everybody, for your support on my second channel here. I will link to my main channel, my non-gaming channel, down in the links below. Thanks, everybody, for your support. I really appreciate it. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.